Wanderlust, the new drama from on BBC One on Tuesday nights. Luke, do you want to guide us through this? Because this was one that you were sort of promoting quite a lot.
So this is a new relationship drama. I'm going to use that word again, Gary. Relationship drama from playwright Nick Payne. It's a 6-parter on BBC One on Tuesday nights, as Matt said. Toni Collette. Not Coney Tollett, as I was about to say, but to stop myself.
Well done.
Who is one of my favourites in the movie world. I don't watch a ton of films, but I do like stuff she's in. Toni Collette plays Joy, this sex therapist who has spent a year of her life basically in a lot of pain with her back. She had a terrible cycling accident where she was hit by a car, and she's been out of commission and sort of rebuilding her life and rebuilding her body for the past year. She's married to Alan, played brilliantly by Stephen McIntosh, who we last saw in Kiri, and who is one of my favourite actors on UK TV. I think he's brilliant. And they have... do they have 2 young children, or 2 teenagers, or one?
They've got one teenager and one grown-up daughter who's a lesbian.
Right, who's a lesbian who pops back in, yeah. So they are sort of... when we meet them, they're experimenting with their sexual relationship again, after so long of her not being able to do anything really, thanks to her injuries. Stephen McIntosh
broke her coccyx.
Stephen McIntosh plays the teacher. One of his colleagues is the brilliant Zoe Ashton from Fresh Meat. She's Claire, and they have kind of an interesting relationship as friends, and it sort of transpires that they have a little frisson to the soundtrack of Warren G's
Regulate,
yeah. which
Don't
I have.
forget about Nate Dogg.
Yeah, no. I do love that song. I really love that.
Yeah,
I
had that stuck in my head yesterday afterward.
Yeah, love that song. And they have kind of a frisson. She gets him to try some drugs, and it all takes off, and they have a moment together, and he feels terrible about it, and sort of confronts Toni Collette and tells her about that. Then there's also Toni Collette going back to work as a therapist, and she's meeting up with Royce Pearson. She's counselling him, and there's also the idea that she may have a relationship down the line with the character played by William Ash, who she meets later on. There's an awful lot going on. When Stephen McIntosh and Toni Collette sort of confide in one another that they're feeling differently about each other, they make the decision to sort of see other people within their relationship, and they say they don't hate one another, they're not against one another, but they just feel like they've both moved on, and they both accept that, in an adult manner. And later on in the series, she tells her son and her daughter, we mentioned, is a lesbian. She's got issues in her relationship life. So it is basically a relationship drama that takes things a little bit further than you'd expect on BBC One at 9 after Holby for all the housewives, and it's full of humour and
Gary.
Yeah. It's full of humour, and I think the characters are all very believable and interesting, and I thought it was vibrant and colourful and didn't take itself too seriously and felt a bit like a breath of fresh air. Now, let's hear Gary's thoughts on it.
I don't hate it. I just won't be watching it. I don't hate it. It's unfair to say I hate it. Toni Collette is very good. I did like Toni Collette's character. I liked I thought I'd be a bit annoyed with another therapist, but actually she was different. But I'm sorry, the sexual content and the sexual stuff was just too much for me, and too much for BBC One at 9 o'clock. This is going to get complaints. I can feel it.
What's wrong with having that though? I don't
know why
What's your issue with seeing sexual content on the screen at 9 o'clock?
It's not what I want to watch. It's not. That's not what.
So it's your personal feelings.
It's yeah. I'm absolutely talking for me, and I feel that it will get complaints because Luke said something a couple of weeks ago. This feels much more like a Channel 4 10 o'clock drama.
Oh,
the look and
like a Channel
feel
4
of
9 o'clock drama, but yeah.
But the very bouncy intro, the very kind of
I'm not very
way
good
in which it came out.
I'm not very good at doing the sum ups. Matt's far better than that.
No, I think
But what I forgot to mention was there's also the son's relationship with someone at school, and B, this is all going on Netflix around the world. That's why it might feel very different. It's made by the BBC in conjunction with Netflix, and it will go on Netflix around the world once the 6 have aired on the BBC.
And that makes a bit more sense now that I know that, because I really do feel like this is I could even see this in like a BBC Two sort of thing. It just doesn't feel BBC One, if you know what I mean. And I know.
No, but I think that's a good thing, and I agree with you. But I'm saying that it's a good thing rather than a scary thing. I think it's good that it doesn't feel like BBC. I think they should be, applauded for taking a bit of a risk. It may well get some complaints, but I imagine the people who complain just won't watch it, and the people that do watch it.
Well, that always surprises me. I mean, I've been on Twitter this week complaining about the number of people that seem to complain about Loose Women might outweigh the number of people who actually watch it. Definitely, you should be allowed to voice your opinion.
I don't think there's anything in this that's offensive, though, Gary. It's just like people having sex.
I am a middle-aged single white man. I do not have any connection to any of those people.
I don't feel like I do, particularly, though, either.
No, but I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about how I feel about it. I'm not saying that you have to have one. I'm saying for me, I couldn't really find anything to connect to. If anything, the most interesting character was the Zoe Ashton one, because she's such a good actress.
I didn't have an issue with this being a drama about sex or something, but it's not something that particularly interested me, and I don't think the characters were strong enough to make me care about it, really. It's very, again, I use this as a criticism, it is very middle class, and I think, Luke, you knew that I might have an issue with that rather than... Yes. I'm surprised you like this as much as you did. This doesn't.
I think what it was, I saw this a long time ago, and I normally I read up on stuff, and I didn't, and I watched it cold.
Was it because it was a surprise? It was something different.
It was a genuine surprise. It took risks. I thought it was a very easy watch, and I thought it had humour and humanity and. I thought maybe
but these aren't characters that you tend to care about very much. No,
I would agree with that. But
they're very middle class.
I think the performances were good.
They've not got much to worry about, and there's no real drama really. It's about the fact that there's a middle-aged couple who are getting bored having sex with each other, so decide to have sex with other people. That is the premise of the thing.
I found.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, also, I felt that I didn't think the writing was particularly strong. I obviously, Nick Payne's a playwright, and was this adapted from a play that he'd written?
I'm not sure about that, if I'm honest.
It did feel very stagey, and I especially didn't believe the voices coming from the younger characters, the son. It felt like he was talking like a middle-aged man.
Much older person.
Yeah. There was very much a role reversal there, wasn't there?
Yeah, but it felt...
The son walking on the mum.
It felt unnatural, and a lot of it, to me, didn't ring true. It felt like I was watching a drama rather than watching these people go about their daily lives. It didn't work for me, and it's one of those dramas that... like the main bone of contention, pardon the pun, isn't something that's strong enough that I think can anchor a 6-part drama.
Well, I think some of your points I agree with, some I don't, obviously, because I enjoyed it more than either of you. But what I would say, you said about not caring about these people's very middle class. I would say I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this far more than something like The Split. I thought that
I didn't like The Split either.
Far more, but that was far more middle class and far more.
Yeah, but I didn't watch that. I agree with you.
I don't put the two in the same category, really, because
it wasn't necessarily to defend The Split a little bit. It wasn't so much the family stuff that made me like it. The family stuff was there. It was more the legal side that intrigued me. I think I even said that the family side of it sometimes dragged it down a bit, but equally also kept it quite balanced when the legal stuff took over.
But I would say
I think this doesn't have anything to balance it.
These couples probably, Stephen McIntosh and Nicola Walker would probably live on the same street as, Stephen
Mangan.
Mangan would
No,
live on...
to be fair, you're quite
Yeah.
right. The Stephen
Stephen
McIntosh
McIntosh
character
and
and the
Tony
Nicola
Collette
Walker
would
character could
probably
live
live
on
on
the
the same street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Suburb. They are. They do. I mean, this has got a bit more because of the content of it. Feels a bit more sort of. What's the word I'm looking for now? Like contemporary. But they would live in the same borough. They're on about the same pay grade. I know the tone of it doesn't feel as middle class. It wasn't deep enough, I think, is the thing. That it felt quite shallow in places.
Tuesdays, I liked it. Matt didn't like it as much or at all, and Gary just hung up on the
Doesn't
sexual
like
content.
sex.
Didn't like
Doesn't
it.
like